So I want us to start with the first program I want to introduce here. I want us to start with a program which is called Microsoft Paint or MS Paint. How do you find the program first? We said that there before we have two ways of finding programs on a computer. So the first method I'm going to show you is a shortcut on how to get the program, and that is you move to the start button here, and then you click and then type the word paint. Immediately you see the paint you're going to use here, this one, and then you click on it, and the process, the paint program will open as that. Another method, let's close, then go back again to start, but now we are going to window start part, and then we are supposed to find them on selected areas on other programs. So you move down by scrolling using your mouse till you find what we call the accessories, which can give us the program. Windows accessories, they are here. So once you click on the scroll down and find paint, it's here, then you click on it once. Now that's our program. First and foremost, I want us to start first by learning the title bar and the menu bar and the toolbar. So what are those tools I'm talking about? As you can see on top here, we have untitled paint. This untitled paint is the title bar that is trying to tell us the name of the document that we are opening and even the program. In our case here, the document it's untitled, so it has no name, and the program is called paint. So what am I supposed to do? First of all, I'll quickly move on the desktop and create a folder so that I'll keep on saving my work on a folder. So first of all, let me move to the top right corner, and then there is a minus there which simply means minimize. You click on it, and then move the blank desktop and right click and move to the new part, and then say create a folder. I told you there before the procedure of creating a folder on the previous episode. You just right click on the blank desktop, then once you right click, move to new, then select folder. Automatically there is a folder which has done what has popped on our desktop. So you can backspace and you say paint drawings. As simple as that. So once you are done, strike enter on the keyboard. Now let's go back to our program. Are we supposed to go again and open the program the procedure? The answer is no, because the program is already minimized on the taskbar of the computer. Where is our taskbar? You just move down the mouse like that, and then you see paint on the right part here. That is just done what? It has minimized. These are paint. So you click on that program, and then it will pop up on a window like that. So as you can see, the document it's meant to be named, so I want to give it a name and save this document on a folder. I like saving my workings on a folder for easy locating of my document or for easy retrieval. So I also prefer, or I recommend that also you create a folder before you start any program, then you start saving your work there. So I'll go to the file, and remember this is the process I'm going to give you on how to save our workings on a folder. So the first step, you click on file, and then you move to what we call save as. There's a difference between save as and save. So save as, this one is applying for the first time, and it's used to show us the location where you want to save your document. But if you don't specify between the two, the computer will save the document as a default in any location, which is going to be very difficult for you to find your folder. So let's use save as. Once you click and then move the desktop, you can scroll this bar up and down to find your desktop if it does not appear on top here. So once you scroll here, you can find your desktop on the left side here, and then give the name of that document. What do you want to draw? For example, in this case I want us to draw a house, so I'll type as house like that. So once I'm done, I'll click save. So if you're very keen, you can see on our title bar here, there's a name of the document, which is a house, and the program itself. So below the title bar, we have the menu bar, which consists of home, and you can see these are the parts of the home where we have our clipboard, we have our image, we have tools, we have shapes, and then we have colors. Everything on the file part, we want to use them, all of them we want to use them here, that we are able to see here. everything you're seeing here and to use that one. So the next part you're supposed to move, it is view. Remember, as I've said earlier, that there are only 2 parts in this case here, but we're going to be majorly focusing. Even though there are 3 years, we're having file, home and view, but we're interested on the 2. So we are moving from home, now we are heading to view. Let's see what's happening on view. So click view. As you click on view, it also has some few tools, you can have a look at them. So the first one is under zoom in and then zoom out. So this case you want to apply them later in our working there before. The rest are not necessary because we won't be using, or we don't need them actually. So let's go back to home and try to understand the tools we are having here. But now, before we proceed, there's something I want us to do, more especially on setting the document. We are supposed to set our working space down here. Where we are supposed to do, we must make sure that in anything before you start drawing in MS Paint, you are supposed to make sure that you'll be able to see your working space. As you can move down here, the bottom part, you cannot see the ending part of this working space. So what am I supposed to do? I'll go to view part under the menu bar and then say zoom out. So as you can zoom out now, you see a rectangle has been formed here with some guidelines here showing that this is our drawing area or our working space we'll be using. Perfect. So I'll go back to home and then take you through the tools we'll be having here and how we shall be using them. So first and foremost, we have pasting command here, which is active for now, and then we have cut and a copy, which are found on the clipboard. So these are the commands we'll be using to duplicate the document at the same time and to move them on some areas and migrate them to those areas that we want. That's under the clipboard. What about the image? In this case, under image, we have the other parts, like now cropping again, we have resize and rotating. So in this case, under rotating, we have different ways of rotating a document or a drawing on MS Paint. You can rotate it right at 90 degrees. You can rotate also to the left. You can also rotate at 180 degrees, and also you can flip vertical. At the same time, you can flip horizontally. So I'm going to discuss these ones later, how they work. Then also we have resizing button here, and then we have selection tool that is used to select a certain area in a form of a triangle, and also to select a certain area in a free form. Also, you can select entire part of the workings once and move to the next location. So those are the contents under the image. What about the tools? As you can see under tools, we have some few tools you're supposed to learn and how to use them. So the first tool, it's a pencil. Once you lay on your mouse pointer, you can see that we have a pencil. This one is used to make some free form lines on the space that we have. The next one is also called a fill with color tool. I usually call it a bucket because it used to do what? To apply some colors on selected areas. The same part under tools, we have also what to call A, which is a text tool which allows you to type. For example, if I click that A on my drawing space, you can be able to see there is a box that has been created there that tells me that it's ready to do what? To do some writing. For example, I can simply write like Bayo Training Studios. Now you can see that's how the text tool it works in this case. But because I'm not interested, we haven't started yet, so we can go back and then proceed from where we are. So another tool is called eraser tool. An eraser tool is used to erase some parts that have been drawn on a working space that you don't need them. For example, let me assume I'm using a pencil and I was writing some writings like those ones. So then I don't like them or I want to eliminate them. So it's very simple for you. You go back to the eraser tool and then carry it and then start dragging while removing everything. So in this case, as you can see, it is trying to erase everything on the working space. That is the function of the eraser. So again, we have another tool here that is also called a color picker. I want to show you how the color picker is working because it's used to pick some colors from selected areas and use them in different parts of the drawing. Another one here is what we call a magnifier. A magnifier is also used here to zoom in or zoom out the page, especially on specific areas that you want to draw. Still on the same part, other tools, we have what we call brushes. There are several brushes tools here we want to apply and we want to use them and you want to learn and understand how they do work. So each and every style, it has its own name. As you can see, the first one, it is called a brush, another one is called a calligraphy brush 1, another one is also called a calligraphy brush 2, then we have another one which is called airbrush, and another one is also called a oil brush, and another one is also called a pen, another one is called a marker, another one is a natural pencil, and the last one is also called a watercolor brush. So in this case, I want to discuss them in length and see how they do work when you want to make some drawings here. So there's some shapes here I want us to learn. If you click this arrow here, it's going to give you more information about other tools that have been left outside. For example, if you click this arrow here, small one, you can be able to toggle down to give you more arrows or more shapes that have been saved in this shapes area. Now, for example, the first one is simply a line. If you click it, it can also make some lines on on your drawing space the way you want. There's so many ways you can draw them using the line tool. Now let's move to the next tool that's also here, that's also called a curve tool. This one is used to make what we call a curves. So once you draw on a desktop and hold a shift key, then once you release, you can also bend and move it up and down while bending to make different shapes on those curves. Another tool here is also called an oval tool. It's used to make oval shapes. For example, you can just draw like that. But if you want to make a clear, sharp circle, in this case, you need to hold a shift key on your keyboard to make sure that the shape is coming out perfectly. But if you don't hold it, it means you need to make, or you want to make an oval shape like that. Another one here is another tool I want us to learn, which is called a rectangle. It's used to make rectangle shapes on your drawing spaces. Another one, we have also a rounded rectangle shape that is used to make what you call a rectangle but with the round corners. What about the one? The other one here is also called a polygon. This is used to make funny shapes on the desktop or make some parts that need to be filled and be closed using such kind of a tool. Another one is a rectangle tool here. If you can also pick and then drag it down here, you can see what is happening. And there's something you're supposed to know, that once you do a drawing on a drawing space, there must be a sign for you to do what? To observe, so that you start making some shapes. Another one here is a rectangle triangle. So once you click it, you can see something looks like a plus. This one simply tells us that you have the shape already on your working space. So the only thing that's remaining, you're supposed to drag either the right, the left, or down or upside to come up with a shape. Another tool here is also called a diamond. It has a diamond shape. So if you click, you can make some shapes like that. You can draw as you wish. As you drag, you increase the shape size. Now let's move to another one. It's called a pentagon. A pentagon is also another diagram with a 5-sided parts. That's why they're calling it a pentagon. Another one we're having here is also called what? It's also called an hexagon. An hexagon, it's a part or a drawing is full of, or that is made of 6 parts. As you can see, you can also draw it like that. You can resize and put some insides that you want on your computer. Then we have also arrows that are facing to the right, like this one. You drag and drop. We have an arrow that is facing to the left, another arrow that is facing upside. You can see, you can drag and increase the size and minimize. Another arrow that is facing down, as simple as that. Now as we proceed, we can also find we have what we call 4-point star. If you click and draw that one, you can also see a 4-point star on your computer. And this one also is a 5-point star. So you click and then you drag on your working space. And this one is also a 6-pointed star, as another shape that we need to use with the time. And then we have also another tool here that is also can be applied, more especially when making some shapes and showing that somebody is trying to communicate. Another one is also called an awful call out. So you can draw and increase the size, and that's what it looks like. Another one here is also called cloud call out. There and more and more. So as we keep on clicking this button, it's going to give you more additional shapes. And we have another one that is called heart, that is to show a shape of love. And then another last one here is also called lightning. This is to show a sign of a lightning or something like a thunder. So that marks to an end of intro about the shapes part, and I want us to move the next area. In this the next area part, we want to discuss some few things also here that talks about increasing the size of a stock. Now, for example, I need to make a line here. Let me scroll up once to find this line. Once you draw a line here and you hold your shift key on the keyboard, you can see it's so straight, but the size of it is so small. So how can you increase the size? Simply you move the size here and increase the thickness. You can see there's a difference between the first one and the second one. So let me draw the first one by using that thickness. You see, it's so small. Now once I'm done, I'll also return to this format that we're supposed to follow, that before you draw anything or after drawing something, you are supposed to return the tool back by clicking any kind of a tool here, or sorry, the shape here. Then you select the line you want to make another one. So you can draw while holding shift to make it straight and then use the size. Once I'm done and I'm comfortable, I'll just return the tool and take the tool again. So that principle will help somebody to avoid repeating the shape of the same equal size. But if you return the tool and take the tool, it allows you to move to the next step instead of repeating. Now the next thing is supposed to start here. We have also color 1 and color 2. So in this case, majorly we'll be using color 1 specifically because it's used to show, or it's used to apply more especially on the foreground parts. But the other one here is also called a background color. It's supposed to be the base of the color we'll be using here. For example, I want us to apply some colors from the entire selected colors we are having here. For example, if I need to apply a certain color in this shape, what am I supposed to do? First of all, I have to move back to the tools menu and choose fill tool. It's a bucket tool. And once you click on that bucket tool, come and select the color of your desire here. Once you select the color you want to apply, you click. Make sure number 1 is selected, which is color 1, which is a foreground color, which is supposed to be on top. And then you click inside. As you can see, the color, it has been applied. The same applies to another shapes. You can also change different colors and make sure the tool is selected and then pour on that shape. You can see there are several differences that are trying to demonstrate out about the colors that we are using. Now you can see the function of this bucket tool, how it does work and how it does to filling of colors. When using color tool, it simply means it's the background color. It means it's going to apply on the entire area of the working space. For example, if I choose this one and then I pour, you see the entire workings has been covered with the color. Reason being, that color too, it's applicable for only backgrounds. Remember, the background is the last color that's supposed to be behind all images that have been drawn here. So we prefer, when you're using color 1, be very careful when you're applying and using them. Make sure that you are supposed to differentiate between the two colors when you are making diagrams to avoid what we call confusion. Now that marks to an intro part of this program. Now I want us to keep on saving our work. Remember, after every 1 minute or 1, 2, 3, if you don't have the consistent power supply, sometimes there might be cutouts or can be blackouts. So make sure you keep on saving your work by clicking this saving button, or you move to the file and then you click save. By doing so, it means your entire workings has been saved fully, and therefore you can be able to retrieve next time. But if you fail not to save your work, remember, it's obvious that you have to lose your work permanently and you cannot work on it. Now that we have known how to use shapes, I want us to move the next step using the same program and try to do some drawings using this program that is called MS Paint. How do you open a new document? You can also adapt by moving the file here. You click and then say new. You can also open a new document. Some use shortcuts on the keyboard by pressing Ctrl and N. It's also the same procedure. You can also press Ctrl N to create a new page. For example, that is Ctrl N. You can see that is my new page. Now, have closed. As you can see, my workings on the desktop, and I want also to keep on using the previous one to open another page. I can also go back here and then open this one, but sometimes by default, if you simply say open, the computer is going to open that document in a form of a picture. Reason being, you commanded the computer to just open by default, so therefore you cannot be able to do some additions in this document. What you're supposed to do for you to be able to go back to the program you're using, you're supposed to go and right click on that kind of a program you're using, and then let it say open, and then move to open with, and then choose the program you're using from the list. As you can see, I'm having what to call MS Paint, and then you click on MS Paint. Remember, the entire working space is so big, and I told you there before, you're supposed to resize it. So you move down here, you move top, and then you choose view, and then you zoom out to make sure your workings is fitting on the window. Now, what next? Now let's go back to new page. I want us to create a new page and then have some drawings, since we have learned on how to apply paint and how to use those tools. So click file and then say new. Entire page will be seen like that. Now, what do you want from this page? First and foremost, I told you that in this case, because under the menu bar we have three buttons, that is file, home and view, I want us first to make sure that the page we are using, you can be able to see your working space. That is by moving to view and then zoom out. Automatically you can see on the bottom side we have some markers which are showing us that the page is already viewable on our working space, and therefore you can proceed. Now allow me to move back to home, because some tools are missing here. What am I supposed to do? Click home, and then you'll be able to see this toolbar. This is what we call the toolbar, starting from the clipboard to the last part of the colors. Now I want us to have a certain drawing on our working space, like a house. So what am I supposed to do? First of all, I can give the name of a house and click on top here, and I can see the text tool already. It has done what? It has popped on the working space, so meaning it's ready to receive my typing. So what am I supposed to say? I can say this is my house. So once you're done, I can also decide to resize the size of this text by highlighting. Some people can highlight by dragging using your mouse, or you can just press Ctrl A to select and then move to the sizes which are here. So I can decide to reduce this up to 26 here. You can see this is very small, or decide to say use size 42 or use size 72. Perfect. Remember, once you have written or typed a text on MS Paint, it means in this case every information you have here. If you click outside, you cannot be able to reverse back unless you delete everything. So let me click aside. Alright, to saved. So remember, our document, it has not been yet renamed. So what am I supposed to do? I'll go to the file and then say save as, and then I'll move to my desktop to scroll this. Once you scroll, you can see your desktop on this side. You click desktop. Then where am I supposed to save my document? I'm having the drawing at paint. What are you supposed to do? You say open. Then once you open, give the name of that document here by naming the file name. So you come here in the backspace and you say you want to draw a house. And then you say save. Look at the title bar. It has a name of the drawing, and then it has the program. So let's proceed. I want to draw a house. So first of all, let me take this one as a rectangle and then come with it. As you can see, my pointer, it has a plus sign, which simply means I'm having a shape. So therefore I can just start by dragging in any size that I want, as simple as that. Once you're done dragging to the required size, then you can also release the mouse. Then there's a plus sign. This simply showing us that you can able to drag it to the right, to the top, or down. You can also resize. There's an arrow that is appearing both sides. This simply means you can also resize or drag in any size that you want to fit your house. So these are called what we call resizing tool. and this plus, it's a dragging tool used to move your building entire part of the page or on your working space. So once I'm comfortable and I'm done, what am I supposed to? I told you return back to it by clicking any kind of a tool, and then you pick any tool that you want. Now for example, I need also to have the lower part because that is the top, so I'll come and then click the rectangle. Then once I'm done, I'll start by dragging here to make the size that I want. If you're not comfortable, you can release and then take your tool here and then try to resize the way you want. And that is our beautiful house. Now, but our house does not have what you call windows and the door. What am I supposed to do? Let me find also a round cornered rectangle and drag to the left side, and then make a window. Then take the rectangle to make a door. Start from the bottom and drag any size that you want. Perfect. So as you can see, we are using these shapes to create a house. So in this case, once I'm done and I'm comfortable with it, I also can try to add another window to the right here. Perfect. And I told you, if you want to make this oval shape to be sharp, you hold shift key on your keyboard. As you do, you can see the oval is very sharp. Perfect. So once I'm done, I'm going to apply some colors on this shape. Very simple. What am I supposed to do? As I told you, go back to the tools menu and select the bucket tool. This is a bucket tool, and set the colors that you want. Before you do anything, you have to select a color from the color palettes and then choose what you want to use. For example, I prefer on my top part to be a green color. Select green color, then move the bucket below and select on the top and then click. It will apply color. What about the base part? I decide that I'm supposed to use this color, so I'll click this dark red color and then you apply. Once you click, you move down, you can see the bucket's active, then you pour the color. Wow. What about the windows that are remaining on the door? I can also decide the windows to have their own colors by selecting from here. So let me choose this one. For the door, it's also, I'm using gray, so you click and then apply. What about the windows? Let them to be yellow. Perfect. This is my house. Now you can see my name of the house is so far from the building. What am I supposed to move from this point at least to the closer part here? So there's a selection tool that I discussed there before. These are tools that are used to select a certain area depending on the selection. It has its options here. For example, if a rectangle selection, freeform, and a selection of all. But for now, I'm really interested that I'm supposed to select only this text. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to select a rectangle selection. So from there, I'll come and select this text keenly. Once I'm done, I can able to see a plus sign. So this is telling us that you can drag and then place it anywhere where you want. So once you're comfortable, then you release. Now we can also decide to start naming the house parts. So how can you do that one? It's very simple. You can simply start by using this line tool. So you click and then you move this window, and then as you can see, I'm having a yellow color, meaning it is the color that has already been selected. So what am I supposed to do? Change, select color 1 and choose black. And then you can see automatically it has changed. What about the other parts? I'm also going to select also and then drag to the right. So I want it to be straight. What am I supposed to do? We will shift. Another thing, what am I supposed to do? I want to name the top part. Select this one and choose and drag, and then choose another one. For the door, increase the size of a line, then draw like that. So the remaining part is to rename. How can we rename such kind of scenarios? How can we rename the name of the, how can we name the parts of the house? Very simple. Go and take the text tool, click on it, then move to this part, click in the front, and then say this is a right window. Window. And then you can also drag it down to fit the what? To the line. And then also on the other side I can click also and say this is the left window. Then also you can also drag it. Once you're comfortable with it, then you click outside to apply. Then this is the top part. Then once you're done, just make sure that you do not click outside the box before you move your text. And then you can move it like that and say this is the top part. We remove the one part only. What am I supposed to click outside? Again, take your text tool and then you click here, and then this is the main door. Name as what? Main door. As simple as that. Before you click elsewhere, you're supposed to drag it and move it to the center. As simple as that. So once you're done, remember to save your workings. You can also click here and then say save, or you can move to this icon and click on it. And once you're done, you have saved your workings the way you wanted. So this marks to an end of intro part of it. I'm going to introduce also some other complex shapes that can be also drawn by using MS Paint. Thank you so much for listening.